So you're worried that you will die before aliens come visit you. Okay, there are hallucinogenic drugs that can solve that problem. And your brain won't know the difference. So here's the thing. If you want to communicate with intelligent aliens across the gaps of space, you would use things that move at the speed of light. Radio waves have good sort of penetration properties of interstellar gas clouds and this sort of thing. All right, so now let's find a planet and send a radio signal. Well, that radio signal is going to have to arrive there at a time where they have not only intelligence, but technology. Suppose some other civilization was sending us radio waves and it arrived 200 years ago. Presumably, we would have counted ourselves among the ranks of intelligent creatures in the universe at that time, but we would have had no capacity to receive radio waves because radio waves weren't discovered yet. And so, in fact, if you want to communicate with a civilization, it has to be right in the slice of time where the life on that planet achieved complexity and intelligence and technology. And maybe technology is not a forever thing. Maybe technology escalates to the point where it becomes so dangerous that they render themselves extinct. So perhaps there's only a narrow window over which you could actually have a radio wave conversation with aliens. So I think the only hope, really, is that we get visited by highly intelligent aliens that figured out a way to cross the gaps of space-time, but thereby not being limited by the speed of light as a speed limit of the universe. As we say, speed of light is not just a good idea, it's the law. But if you warp space-time, you can cheat that, as they do in Star Trek with their warp drives and things. So if they would visit us. Now, you were depressed before. You don't know depression until what I'm about to tell you. So now imagine if they visit us in a spacecraft. What are we doing now? In the United States, we don't even have a spacecraft to launch our own astronauts. We're hitching a ride we're buying seats on the Russian for tens of millions of dollars, okay? And what will that do? It will go into low Earth orbit where we will boldly go where hundreds have gone before, all right? That is the state of human space exploration at this moment. Now aliens come from the gaps of space and they land. Okay, I have two hypotheses, three. One of them is they have already landed, but they accidentally arrived during Comic-Con. And no one could distinguish them from any other costumes that were being worn. And then they left because no one cared that they came. So it's a remote possibility, but I'm allowing that in the probability of this. All right, so another possibility is that they took a good look at us and concluded there's no sign of intelligent life on Earth, not worthy of their attention. A third possibility, there may be more, but these are the three that I carry with me, is that they are so much smarter than we are. By the way, what would that take? Not much. But what's the next closest animal to humans in intelligence? Chimpanzees, chimps. And what's the DNA difference? 2% tops? Yet, what's the most they can do? They can stack boxes and reach a banana? Okay, maybe they'll put up an umbrella, rudimentary sign language, maybe. Our toddlers do that. Our toddlers. So here's only a 2% difference in DNA, and the chimp is stacking boxes, but we have poetry and music and the Hubble telescope. So our hubris ends up saying, what a difference that 2% makes. What a difference that makes. Maybe that difference is just as small as the 2%. Maybe the difference between the Hubble telescope and stacking boxes is as small as the 2% indicates. Because now consider some other species, 2% beyond us, just as we are 2% beyond the chimp. What would we look like to them? They would roll the smartest human Stephen Hawking, roll him forward and say, this one is slightly smarter than the rest because he can do astrophysics calculations in his head, like little Timmy over here who just came back from preschool. Alien Timmy. Oh, look, you just composed your 12th sonnet. That's beautiful. Oh, you just re-derived the fundamental principles of calculus. Let's put it on the refrigerator door. Yes, that's what their toddlers would be doing because our toddlers do what the smartest chimps do. If aliens came and they had only that much more intelligence than us, the gap that is between us and chimps, and we have DNA in common, if they were only that, they could enslave the entire earth and we wouldn't even know it. Maybe that has already happened. And we are living our lives as though we are expressing the free will of the human species, yet we are nothing more than an ant farm on their shelf. So we are their entertainment, not even worthy of investigation beyond what we look like in their terrarium.